Just going to read an excerpt from a book you've probably never read, but you really should. It's a book by Ayn Rand called Atlas Shrugged. It's from page 976. You did not care to compete in terms of intelligence. You are now competing in terms of brutality. You did not care to allow rewards to be won by successful production. You are now running a race in which rewards are won by successful plunder. You called it selfish and cruel that men should trade value for value. You have now established an unselfish society where they trade extortion for extortion. Your system is a legal civil war, where men gang up on one another and struggle for possession of the law, which they use as a club over their rivals, till another gang wrests it from their clutch and clubs them with it in their turn, all of them clamouring protestations of service to an unnamed public's unspecified good. You had said that you saw no difference between economic and political power, between the power of money and the power of guns, no difference between reward and punishment, no difference between purchase and plunder, no difference between pleasure and fear, no difference between life and death. You are learning the difference now. Some of you might plead the excuse of your ignorance, of a limited mind and a limited range, but the damned and the guiltiest among you are the men who had the capacity to know, yet chose to blank out reality, the men who are willing to sell their intelligence into cynical servitude to force, the contemptible breed of those mysticals of science who profess a devotion to some sort of pure knowledge, the purity consisting of their claim that such knowledge has no practical purpose on earth, who reserve their logic for inanimate matter, but believe that the subject of dealing with men requires and deserves no rationality, who scorn money and sell their souls in exchange for a laboratory supplied by loot. And since there is no such thing as non-practical knowledge, or any sort of disinterested action, since they scorn the use of their science for the purpose of profit of life, they deliver their science to the service of death, to the only practical purpose it can ever have for looters, to inventing weapons of coercion and destruction. They, the intellects who seek escape from moral values, they are the damned of this earth. Theirs is the guilt beyond forgiveness. Do you hear me, Dr. Robert Stadler? But it is not him that I wish to speak. I am speaking to those among you who have retained some sovereign shred of their soul, unsold and unstamped, to the order of others. If, in the chaos of the motives that have made you listen to the radio tonight, there was an honest, rational desire to learn what is wrong with the world, you are the man who I wish to address. By the rules and terms of my code, one owes a rational statement to those whom it does concern, and you're making an effort to know. Those who are making an effort to fail to understand me are not a concern of mine. I'm speaking to those who desire to live and to recapture the honor of their soul. Now that you know the truth about your world, stop supporting your own destroyers. The evil of the world is made possible by nothing but the sanction you give it. Withdraw your sanction. Withdraw your support. Do not try to live on your enemy's terms or to win at a game that they're setting the rules. Do not seek the favour of those who enslaved you. Do not beg for alms from those who have robbed you, be it subsidies, loans or jobs. Do not join their team to recoup what they've taken by helping them rob your neighbours. One cannot hope to maintain one's life by accepting bribes to condone one's destruction. Do not struggle for profit, success or security at the price of a lien to your right to exist. Such a lien is not to be paid off. The more you pay them, the more they will demand. The greater the values you seek or achieve, the more vulnerable and helpless you become. Theirs is a system of white blackmail, devised to bleed you, not by means of your sins, but by means of your love for existence. Do not attempt to rise on the looters' terms or to climb a ladder that they're holding the ropes. Do not allow their hands to touch the only power that keeps them in power, your living ambition. Go on strike, in the manner I did. Use your mind and skill in private. Extend your knowledge. Develop your ability. But do not share your achievements with others. Do not try to produce a fortune, not with a looter riding on your back. Stay on the lowest rung of their ladder. Earn no more than your barest survival. Do not make an extra penny to support the looter's state. Since you're captive, act as a captive. Do not help them pretend that you're free. Be the silent, incorruptible enemy they dread. When they force you, obey, but do not volunteer. Never volunteer a step in their direction, or a wish, or a plea, or a purpose. Do not help a hold-up man to claim that he acts as your friend and benefactor. Do not help your jailers to pretend that their jail is your natural state of existence. Do not help them to fake reality. That fake is the only dam holding off the secret terror, the terror of knowing they're unfit to exist. Remove it and let them drown. Your sanction is their only life belt. If you find a chance to vanish into some wilderness out of their reach, do so. But do not exist as a bandit or to create a gang competing with their racket. Build a productive life of your own with those who accept your moral code and are willing to struggle for a human existence. You have no chance to win on the morality of death or by the code of faith and force. Raise a standard to which the honest will repair, the standard of life and reason. Act as a rational being and aim at becoming a rallying point for all those who are starved for a voice of integrity. Act on your rational values, whether alone in the midst of your enemies, or with a few of your chosen friends, or as the founder of a modest community on the frontier of mankind's rebirth. When the looter's state collapses, deprived of the best of its slaves, when it falls to a level of impotent chaos, like the mystic-ridden nations of the Orient, and dissolves into starving robber gangs fighting each other, when the advocates of the morality of sacrifice perish with their final ideal, then, and on that day, we will return. I hope you like that. That's the first part of a reading that I'd like to do a little more often. Good words to ponder. If you haven't read the book, pick it up. You can get it pretty cheap. You can get it pretty quick. Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged. Have an excellent day.